Ciao! We're coming at you live from Italy.
Just kidding, we couldn't afford plane tickets,
So we're bringing a taste of Italy to you.
Hey, oh my gosh! So today, we're going to be cooking fettuccine alfredo and getting to tell you so many different topics about Italy that we chose that include
How their language went from Latin to Italian and how the Columbian exchange impacted them.
Italian art and how Italian culture relates to us.
Mythology and religion within Italy.
culture and alcohol.
So let's get started.
First, fill a pot with water and bring it to a bowl.
The downfall of Latin as a language began when the Holy Roman Empire fell. Modern-day Italian stems from what we consider Vulgar Latin. Vulgar Latin was spoken by the commoners of Italy until it became what we consider Classical Italian. Many modern-day languages, such as French, Portuguese, and Spanish, can credit Latin as their origin. When we are thinking of modern-day Italian, we are thinking of Florentine Italian. Dante, a very influential 14th century writer in Italy, can be credited to giving Florentine Italian its exposure. This dialect is what we consider modern-day Italian.
Before adding the noodles, add a pinch of salt to the bowl and water.
While we're waiting for the pasta to boil, let me tell you about Italian culture. Some of the most well-known things in Italian culture include its food, its natural and historical landmarks, its language, its art, and some of the festivals they have. Whenever you take a trip to Italy, you have to sword fight like a gladiator at the Colosseum, get lost within the ruins of Pompeii, take a picture holding up the Tower of Pisa, go town hopping on the Amalfi Coast, or also visit the Jubilee, which is a Catholic tradition that takes place every 25 years and is a time of celebration and a spiritual renewal. And obviously indulge in the different kinds of foods and drinks in Italy, like pasta, pizza from Naples, limoncello from Passiano, and wine from really anywhere.
Italy was the main center of artistic developments throughout the Renaissance. The great names in Italian art include
Giotto, Donatello, Filippo Brunelleschi, and Michelangelo.
he is known for going against the Byzantine style of painting, giving weight, personality, and dimension to his subjects. The term Renaissance man comes from one of the leading figures of the High Renaissance, Michelangelo, who is a sculptor, painter, architect, and poet. He is remembered as a technical master who took his time to complete the best work possible. His job description is no longer the Michelangelo's, adding musician, mathematician, engineer, inventor, geologist, botanist, writer, and anatomist to his resume. He also painted the Mona Lisa. Italy is a world leader in high fashion. Located in Milan, it's a haven for models, designers, photographers who come to work in the houses of Versace, Gucci, Valentino, Dolce & Gabbana, Prada, Armani, and many others.
When the noodles are cooked, strain the water into the sink, but leave a little bit of water left in the pot.
I think they're ready.
Roman mythology deeply influenced its art, literature, and social values by promoting rich tapestry of stories, gods, and heroes that explain natural phenomena, human qualities, and historical events. Many modern Italian festivals and traditions have their roots in ancient Rome. Roman mythology affected Roman society because religion and myth were united. Romans worshipped thousands of gods and believed there was a god or spirit for everything in nature. Therefore, Romans were very superstitious as they believed that many natural things such as lightning and harvest were acts of the gods. The most powerful god that the Romans believed in was Jupiter. He was adopted from the Greek god Zeus, which means they believed that he was the king of all the gods and he ruled over all earth and heaven. Neptune, who was adopted from the Greek god Poseidon, the god of the sea.
Apollo, who is the same as the Greek god, is the god of sun, music, and archery.
Minerva, known as Athena in Greek mythology, is the goddess of wisdom.
Lastly, Venus. Venus is equivalent to the Greek goddess Aphrodite, the goddess of love.
Now time to make the Alfredo sauce. First, add the butter and cream to a large skillet.
Simmer over low heat for 2 minutes.
Whisk in the seasonings and salt and pepper for 1 minute.
Whisk in the Parmesan cheese until melted.
It is no mystery that the impacts of the Columbian exchange credit the transfer of food, animals, people, plants, and diseases from the Old World to the New World. But what about Italy? When we think about how the Columbian exchange affected our natives, we think of diseases like syphilis, or we think of horses being brought over to America. However, we hardly consider what impact this exchange had on the Old World, specifically Italy. I don't know about everyone else, but the first thing that comes to mind when I think of Italy is their amazing food. Pizza, pasta, cannolis, gelato, etc. However, the Columbian exchange deserves credit for some of these amazing dishes. Nancy Nunn writes, quote, less calorie-intensive foods such as tomatoes, chili peppers, cacao, peanuts, and pineapples were also introduced and are now culinary centerpieces in many Old World countries, namely Italy, Greece, and other Mediterranean countries. They were so universally adopted that it came to be used as a substitute for currency in many parts of the world.
In the late 1800s, Italian natives began to seek a new life and citizenship in America. By 1915, it's estimated that approximately 13 million people immigrated from Italy to the United States. From famous sculptors, painters, and opera singers, the country already had its fair share of talent before people began to immigrate to America. Subculture, and many of these people took up residence in New York City. Over time, these Italian immigrants began to form their own unique communities, and each one centered culturally around the town where they came from. As waves of Italians came through Ellis Island, they brought their love of food with them. Today, Italian food is undoubtedly one of the most popular of all ethnic foods. Aside from language and food, Italians brought with them a rich history and understanding of art and culture. From famous sculptors and painters to opera singers, the country already had its fair share of talent before people came.
Now, add the pre-cooked chicken into the Alfredo sauce. After that, add the chicken and the Alfredo sauce mixture into the fettuccine noodles.
Approximately 85% of Italians identify as being Catholic. The unification of Italy, a large part of the Italian peninsula, was part of the Papal States. After the unification in 1860, due to French aid, the Pope maintained control over Rome. This ended on September 20th, 1870, shortly after the defeat of Napoleon III. Religion, primarily Roman Catholicism, has had a profound impact on Italian culture, shaping its traditions, social values, art, architecture, holidays, and even daily life. Christianity is a prominent religion in Italy, with many people identifying as Catholic, and the country has a rich Christian heritage.
There are so many reasons as to why alcohol is so prevalent in Italian culture. One of the main ones being the most wines and alcoholic beverages are made in the country, so they're very accessible. Although the legal drinking age is 18 in Italy, it's not strictly enforced, so sometimes kids as young as 12 are introduced to alcohol and allowed to drink it. While Italians drink a lot of alcohol, most of the time it's with meals, and there are two types of times that they drink alcohol. The first one is aperitivo. This is typically one drink only, and it's a wine or a cocktail that's served before dinner to cleanse your palate. And most times this is served with a small snack like peanuts, chips, or any extravagant fried foods. The second is dinner, and this is typically the most popular way to drink alcohol. It's typically wine by the glass or in a bottle is the way it's served, and suggested food and wine pairings are provided, and most of the time restaurant owners take pride in the food and the drinks that they serve. And it's done!
We hope you enjoyed our taste of Italy. Ciao!
Camera's nervous too.
About Italian fashion.
Oh,
I deserve religion.
Giotto has long been considered the first great artist of the.
Thinking, quiet on set!
Amazing food. Peace. Paul? Hey. I go to Bruno
Italy.
anywhere.
I was being Catholic. Let's see if they're done.